Hi everyone, I welcome all the divine souls on my YouTube channel, which is Twinflame Realities. So should you actually perform rituals and do worshipping during periods or not, including deity worshipping and your ancestral ritual you perform, which I have shared in my previous video. So that's why I'm sharing this information so that you stay clear whether what all things you can perform during periods and what you cannot. So I'm actually from India, and in my religion, I would say, not specific in country, it is being asked not to worship during periods. They give different sort of reasons for not worshipping during periods, but then there are a lot of spiritual gurus of especially females, so they like to debate about it, that you should actually worship during periods because everything is God made. If God didn't want, then why did they created this thing? So you should actually worship. So this is a debate which is ongoing still in my religion in my country, I can say. But then specifically about me, since I started going through this this period thing, I was asked like you should not do this. So I never tried forcing whether that I should actually go ahead against my religion or against my culture. I don't have any problem in following a bit of things taught through my religion or through my culture, and there is no harm in that. If I am not worshipping for 4 or 5 days, there is no harm into that. So as I'm always clear about a difference between wrong thing and right thing, which are being taught to you on the name of a religion and on the name of spiritual practices, there are so many things which are wrong. Still they try to force you, and a lot of people follow that. But then things which were wrong, I never followed that. But then when it comes about worshipping during periods, I was completely okay. I didn't even had to get into depth why I should not do that. It's okay. Like agreeing to 1% thing from the society and the community or the religion, I don't have any problem in that. Another thing, I did not like to worship during this time because see, I actually used to experience a lot of stomach pain during periods time, and that was because of entity attack. And I have already shared a detailed video on this, that how I was being attacked during this time, and how I was able to identify that this was actually happening through entity attack, not a normal period pain. Another thing, like during this time I have to go to washroom several times, and I don't feel like that touching idols or the temple inside my house. And I also do not visit temples outside my house. So I like to stay away from visiting temples or maybe any other sacred place. And I do not touch even idols or the temples what I have inside my house. Also, like worshipping Lord Hanuman, and it is being asked you should not worship them, which is again a wrong information. Females can definitely worship Lord Hanuman, but then you should, I mean, again it is being asked not to touch the idol even in normal days, also during periods. So I do not I've not been doing that particular worshipping during periods time, not any deity or gods or goddesses. But then after my awakening, so I stay alone, and as I'm staying alone, I have to do a lot of things. So I have not been worshipping during periods since I also started staying alone. So I maintained this thing. No, I'm going to stay away from this, and I don't have to listen others, because I have seen people doing wrong things in their life and then giving lectures on the name of spirituality. But then after awakening, as I was heavily attacked by those evil entities, so I had to do a lot of rituals and several spiritual practices, which I had to continue doing for 21 days, even for more than that. Then I realized that there is one particular worshipping of, that is Lord Hanuman, that I continue doing for particular minutes and hours for constantly for 21 days. So because of periods, I could not do that. And so if I'm on periods or I got my periods in between while doing those rituals, I had to stop it. So I do not touch temple, I do not visit sacred place, and also I do not worship Lord Hanuman during periods time. There are few females who claims to be DF, that they say like they do worship Lord Hanuman even during periods. So I am not questioning on that, and I would also not say no to that. It is your calling, your choice. I always suggest people to listen to their inner calling. And I realized that there were several particular ritual which I wanted to continue, including this Hanumanji ritual for 43 days. But then, and I actually tried checking, can I really do it? So I was given a no, let it be, don't do this, do not force yourself. So when they said no, they did not give me any reason you should not do this or that, like the human says. No, they said don't do it. Maybe, because body needs rest, during periods time, and I don't feel like doing a lot of things when I'm on periods. No, even though when I'm not having pain, I just do not want to do several things. So when I was given a reply that no, you should not do this, and then I never questioned and I never tried forcing, then I had to take a break, and I only can perform rituals for 21 days, which includes the worshipping of Lord Hanuman. So there was a female who was questioning whether she can perform or do this kind of worshipping or not during periods time. From my side, I would say do not do it during periods to worship Lord Hanuman. You can keep listening Hanuman Chalisa or maybe Bajrang Ban on speaker or on your phone. Do not touch idols or the pictures, and do not even read on your own. You can definitely listen. There is no harm in that, but then if you're on periods, you can avoid that. Otherwise, you can just go ahead with your inner calling. If you think you should do it, then you can go ahead and do it. Now the question was, can you perform ancestral that ritual which I have asked you to perform on every new moon now, once you have done the initial healing, which I have already guided. So there is a food offering. You have to prepare altar for your ancestors. So I definitely do it. I do not escape that. If I'm on periods and if it is a new moon, I will definitely cook food and I will do complete proper offering to my ancestors. Why I should do it or you should do it? Because ancestors have been part of our human life, our human family. So they are not God, though they are being worshipped equal than god or maybe higher than them, but then you can definitely do offerings to your ancestors. So when I was doing my inner work, I also faced certain situations wherein it was new moon and I was not even able to sit or walk properly because of health issues, and then several other issues were happening because of entities attack or whatever the energies were because of portal or new moon and full moon. Then what I used to do, I used to cook food and offer it I have included food whatever I have cooked and using candles and incense. But the way I prepare my altar for my ancestral ritual properly, that I was not doing. So my health was not allowing. In that case, I suggest you can follow the same thing. If your health is not allowing you, do not force yourself. On maybe one or new moon, you can definitely escape, but do not make it a habit of escaping it every new moon or every full moon. So see, ancestral ritual has to be done on new moon only, not on full moon. So what you can do, if you are not healthy or you're not able to, not feeling well, then you can just cook proper meal and then offer it. Make sure to light a candle and use incense, give it a glass of water. Rest of the things can be avoided, like adding charms or some other thing what I have included in my ritual in my altar. So on new moon, you can definitely do offerings to your ancestors, even though if you're on periods, there is no restrictions in that. But then the worshipping of the deities or the gods and goddesses is to be avoided, like touching the temple. You can also do mantra chanting on during periods. I do not do it because I have to touch my bead bag, which I like to stay away during periods time, because on my bead bag there are the picture of gods and goddesses is there. So I like to avoid during periods time. It's just a matter of 4 or 5 days, and then during that time what I do, I play either mantras on speaker or Hanuman Chalisa and Bajrang Ban and anything. If I keep chanting through using bead bag or those beads, I would play it on speaker, so I am definitely listening to it. So again, it is going to be your inner calling. You have to follow whether you want to do it or not, or during periods if you wish to keep chanting mantras while using your bead bag or not. Follow your inner guidance. So I have not shared till now on this channel that you have to perform certain rituals for 21 days and for further days. There I will be adding certain things in that particular ritual which you have to avoid during periods time. So there are only 1 or 2 things which you have to avoid during periods time. Otherwise, rest of the things can definitely be done. Once I actually was on a spiritual trip. It was a sacred trip where I was going out of city, and then there I got my period. So people were actually going and dipping into the sacred holy water. So I was like, no, I would not go, because I was not feeling like going inside the water. And whatever, it was my own calling. But then I actually heard the same situation from another female, so she said, no, I actually want to do it because everything is God made. So I said, it is your choice, I am not stopping you. But when it comes about me, if I am on a trip, and if I have been on a sacred trip, a spiritual trip, wherein I had to get into the holy water like Ganga, and maybe you have some other sort of a sacred river where you like to get into that, so I actually avoid it. Then you have to follow your inner guidance. Another thing, what I keep hearing from the people who are from my religion, that you should not give water or worship to sacred plants during periods time. So I stay alone. I definitely avoid worshipping, like lighting diya on particular days, like so I do not do it on periods days. But then if it is the summer time and plant needs water, I would definitely go ahead and give it. I would not let them die because I'm on periods. There was one question asked by a DF that she wanted to perform tarpan, that ancestral initial ritual which is being performed with the help of a priest in my religion. So what if you get period the day you have to perform this ritual with the help of a priest? So in that case, you have to check and tell that priest that you have got this period today. So I'm sure that the priest is going to deny that, because it is a sacred ritual. There are a lot of things which they have to perform. Invocation has been done. So what I know, that they actually deny, they can give you some other date. You don't have to force it. So always make sure, if you have planned for a tarpan for your ancestors and you get your periods, then you have to communicate this thing to the priest that this has happened. Is it allowed, or you should avoid it? You can postpone it. So as per my knowledge, it will definitely be postponed. So as I said in my ancestral, guidance video, that tarpan can be performed either during Shraddh, which comes once in a year for 15 days, or you can do it on any new moon. New moon comes every month, once in a month. So these things to be, like you have to plan it in advance. It is not like, I just want to do it today, because there are things which you have to arrange for that particular worshipping, for that particular ritual, wherein the priest will be helping you. Another question was asked by a DF that that things what I told her, that I was asked to arrange for this tarpan process through the priest. So she was asked to add a few more things into that particular worshipping. So remember that every person is not from the same city, and those priests have different way of performing ritual for this tarpan. So you should be completely okay with that. Just know that you are letting this to be done through a right person who is genuinely a priest, not somebody sort of who doesn't know anything and acting as a priest. That you should know, definitely know. But adding things into that tarpan process, it is completely okay. If they are adding few things lesser what I told you, or maybe few more things what I told you, completely okay with that. So as soon as I went through spiritual awakening, there was a big temple inside my society itself, I would say, on a walk-in distance. So I actually spoke to a priest and I started performing one particular worshipping that is for Lord Shiva, that is called Rudrabhishek. So I used to perform it on every new moon, and which actually required 2 to 3 hours. I had to be there and perform that ritual wherein priest was chanting mantra and guiding me for that Rudrabhishek. So if I actually got periods on either on new moon or maybe a day before, then I actually informed him that I cannot do this, and then I had to postpone it for some other day within the same month, or I had to leave it. So I actually did this for continuous for 11 months. It was just a choice. I was guided to do that, so I did that. Now it all depends which religion or which country you are and what do you follow in terms of spirituality, and what are restrictions, what you can do and what you cannot do. It is better than me or anybody else about your religion. So I am only sharing what I was guided, that I do not perform certain things related to Hanuman Chalisa. I do not read it, or Bajrang Baal, or any worshipping related to Hanumanji, and certain things which I do not do it on periods. It is going to be your choice. You have to follow your inner guidance. But then when it comes about performing this ancestral ritual, this offering for your ancestors, you can definitely do it on even on periods. You can only avoid when your health is not at all allowing you. And if you're really serious about doing your inner work, if you're a twin flame, then please understand you have to keep your health on priority. Otherwise, see, there are entities, who keep on disturbing your physical health and your mental health through entities attack only. And if you're not feeling well, you will not be able to do any kind of energy work, or you will also not be able to do offerings, to your ancestors, maybe on new moon. Maybe you can escape it for 1 month, but are you really going to do it every month? If you are letting them this happen, then this will become a pattern or a part of your life. So you have to be careful about your physical health, mental health, and you can only do it when you're eating right, healthy food, vegetarian food, also doing prayers and rituals for the spiritual protection. So I hope the message is clear, what you can perform during periods and what you cannot. So this was about today's video. I will see you in another video. Till then, take good care of yourself. Bye bye.